I'm Jake Allen Graham. This is my review on the Ow! I popped my neck, but I'm sorry. This is my review on the 2004 Punisher movie. Ow. So, this is my review. I'm Jake Allen Graham. This is my review on the 2004 Punisher movie. I give it an 8 out of 10. I give the final work an 8 out of 10 this movie because I'm going to also go into spoiler territory for a second when explaining why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, so don't spoil some of the movie, I think. To explain why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I give the Punisher movie from 2004 Punisher movie a 8 out of 10 because I thought it was mediocre at best, and I didn't see why this movie need to be rated R. Why is it rated R if Spider-Man is rated PG-13 from 2002? And this came out in the same year as Spider-Man 2 from 2004, the sequel to Spider-Man. So, I just don't understand why is this movie not rated PG-13. I think this movie's overselling itself and I just think it's kind of a bullshit thing that this movie's rated R when it really should be rated PG-13 because, it's like, it's not really edgy at all. It's pretty lighthearted at times. Sometimes some scenes are very lighthearted. I mean, Punisher mostly is just drink his sorrows away, and in the first act of the movie by himself in his apartment. That's mostly what the movie focuses on. Him drinking his sorrows away and drinking a lot alone by himself, and that's most of the movie. Punisher drinking a lot by himself. So maybe that's why it was rated R, I guess. I don't know. Could they not do drinking in PG-13 movies since 2004? I don't know. Especially when drinking alone in his apartment. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's rated R. The Punisher movie, the first one. And because the violence in this movie is pretty tame, The kills are often pretty tame when it comes to the violence. And killing people off in the movie. Like, it's not as gory, per se. It's not as shocking. The movie doesn't come across as much shock value as 2002 Spider-Man movie rated PG-13 when they killed off the Green Goblin after in the also like the final climax when Spider-Man's getting the shit beaten out of him by Green Goblin bleeding to death and was about to stab him with the Goliath and then he dodges the Goliath dodges the Goliath in the air, like flips in the air and stabs Green Goblin instead and kills Green Goblin. Kills himself his own glider. It was funny. Yeah, so Green Goblin is mortally wounded and like gets peeled in the gut with a glider. Coughing off blood, and that's funny. And Peter's all beaten up from the battle for the him and Green Goblin getting Green Goblin would have killed him. I'm just saying if he didn't have spider sense, the spider sense saves his ass in the final battle between the Green Goblin and Spider-Man. That was a pretty brutal battle. Then most of the violence in this movie of the Punisher movie, I find that was a more brutal battle. That one brutal battle seems more brutal than anything of the action scenes that's rated R in this Punisher R-rated movie. Or any of the intense things in this movie. It's not as intense as the brutal battle between the Green Goblin and Spider-Man from 2002. In terms of making things really gruesome and intense and edgy, Punisher loses against Maguire's Spider-Man. Now that's pathetic. And a little sad when you think about it. So that's why I give the first Punisher movie from 2004 a 8 out of 10, mostly because of that reason. I felt like I was cheated out of a really cool, edgy, R-rated experience with something called the Punisher name on it. It has dumb, cheesy moments that are kind of lighthearted, like this one scene where the Punisher is torturing this, has this guy tied up and tells him he's going to burn his flesh, but really he's just grilling a cheeseburger. He's grilling a hamburger and rubbing a popsicle on his back. And pretending and telling him that's his flesh that he's feeling, and why he's feeling cold is his flesh, and he was lying to him just to get him to talk and getting answers. So when he gets answers, he lets him go, but he also gets a job. He also basically has him do some of his dirty work, or do some of his work for the Punisher. Because after torturing him, letting go, he has the Punisher's get an eye on it, so he's working for the Punisher now. Weird. Isn't there a guy that Punisher works with in the comics that provides Punisher gear and weapons from Marvel Comics? What's his name again? He was in the Punisher Bronze first season of the Punisher show, and he was in the Punisher Warzone reimagining 2008 movie. I forget what his name is, but he's a Punisher character that's the only Punisher sidekick in the comics, and even in the I know he made an appearance in Spider-Man the animated series when the Punisher made a crossover, ran into the Punisher, and also a sidekick. that provides him weapons, lethal weapons for the Punisher. Basically, a bunch of gear and stuff. So it's in a Punisher, pretty much helps the Punisher out in every way possible for support in the Punisher. So and following the Punisher. So for support supporting the Punisher on the best way possible to get. So I just thought that was kind of weird. Why didn't you just make this character that Punisher tortures that character from Punisher comics? It just doesn't. But instead, I guess the director or the writer didn't like the character, so didn't want to put the character in this movie. This version of the Punisher from 2004. So I thought it was weird because Punisher ends up with this different sidekick that stays for him for a while till he gets his revenge and says his goodbye to his companion. But goes on his merry way in the end and takes the name Mantle of the Punisher finally after avenging his family. And starting his one man on crime by murdering everyone that has broken the law and gone away with it. And that's how he's called. That could guess the name the public calls him the Punisher. It's to explain this epic monologue from the Punisher in the end. So that's when he becomes the Punisher in the end. Isn't that great? Yet. And that's how he gets the name the Punisher. It is a tad bit silly, I thought, of a movie when I watched it. The more I watch it, the more I think this is a tad bit silly of a movie. And kind of stupid. Punisher doesn't do killing until the other half of the movie, later on, because he's drinking his sorrows away and gearing up and planning ahead. And when he starts killing people himself, it's usually just the rest of the. It's usually just what's less of the people that got killed by John Travolta's character because he was driven mad by the Punisher, and Punisher had the John Travolta's character, who was a main villain of the film, had him kill his entire allies and his family and friends that he knew were close to. Right before killing himself at the end. And revenge for the Punisher's family and taking everything from Frank Castle and breaking him. His spirit and everything. And taking everything from her. And I do appreciate that it's shot directly from the first Mad Max movie. They shot it like it's directly from the first Mad Max movie when they kill off Frank Castle's family room because Frank Castle wasn't quick enough to save them in time. They pay homage to the first Mad Max when he had to kill his family off by shooting it like it's directly something from Mad Max. And it's like, and this kind of premise feels very Mad Max inspired by the first Mad Max movie. In terms of tone, I got a feeling this guy was a fan of Mad Max. Besides just a fan of The Punisher. Which is why I kind of feel bad for giving this movie the more I'm thinking about this, would it be fair to give this movie an 8 out of 10 just because it wasn't edgy enough for me? I'm trying to think about that as I'm pondering in this review. Does this really deserve an 8 out of 10? I think this is a 10 out of 10, this first Punisher movie. Even though it's not edgy for me. It's kind of lighthearted, it feels like. And, don't know why it needs to be R-rated in PG-13, but I was glad it was R-rated. And I just wish it kind of, went for the R rating for the fans. With the gruesome kills. It was, kind of like Punisher Warzone wasn't afraid to hold back. Makes me want to see Punisher Warzone again. This movie does. Personally, like Punisher Warzone more than this Punisher movie, but that's just me. But I give this a 10 out of 10 still. Recommend this movie. My mouth was dry, so let me drink some water. So, that's why I give 2004, this Punisher movie, a 10 out of 10. I give this a 10 out of 10 because this goofy excuse me. I give it a 10 out of 10 because it has that comic book goofy, fun comic book magic. Charm to this movie this has. It's a classic in my eye, okay? I give this a 10 out of 10. I love this movie enough to give it a seal of approval for me. That's why I give the Punisher movie a 10 out of 10. The Punisher movie from 2004 gets a 10 out of 10. Because I loved everything about this movie, pretty much. It was very fun. More fun than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Suck it, Marvel. The Spider-Man, Maguire. Suck it. This is better content than Marvel. Spider-Man trilogy. I thought this was more fun than the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire. That's how, this is all, it's more fun than any of the 3 Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire era. And I cared more about the Punisher than I ever did about Maguire or Spider-Man. In one Punisher movie versus 3 Spider-Man movies. I care more about the Punisher than the Spider-Man. He feels more like a real character to me. His cinematic counterpart. Versus Spider-Man's cinematic counterpart from the early 2000s, so. From 2004. And the sequel came out, Spider-Man came out in 2004. So Spider-Man continued the story in 2004, so 2004 is this Spider-Man 2 came out in 2004, and but also came out 2004 was this Punisher movie. This movie was way more fun than 2004 Spider-Man movie. As a kid, that's just what I thought, okay? My dad took me. To see one of these movies. I can't remember which one it was. I'm a little tired. I think I've been up for a while, so I'm a little zoning out right now. And anyway, so the Punisher movie from 2004, I decided I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10 because I love this movie, even though it has flaws. And what I said it, meant it. But I still love this movie. Give it a 10 out of 10. I approve this movie, okay? Good night. Goodbye, my audience. And subscribe to my channel. Grow my subscribers, my audience. And hit the thumbs up to like my video. Hit the comment below to let me know results video. And just want to, if you like this video or thought I was okay or whatever, let me know below. I'd like to know what people think of me. Okay? Bye, my audience.